What happened to Ken? Hey guys, MC Bora here, and today we're gonna talk about the curious case of the masterpiece Ken Masters. Because at some point, Ken was widely considered, I would say, to be like one of the strongest characters in the game, and especially during season 1, right? It was Ken, JP, and Luke. But you see the recent trends in character usage and tournament performance, and Ken and his performance have absolutely plummeted. Now we check out the character usage rate, right, on the official website, and Ken is a shoto. So shotos by default are all very common, and they're all very popular. So he is the fourth in the overall pick rate. Obviously, as a trio of Akuma, Ryo, and Ken are all super popular. Although there is a significant drop, like between Ken and Ryu, like they are at 8% while Ken is at 5%. But you check him out at the Ultimate Master, so 1800 MR and above, and yeah, Ken is still like within the top 5, and that's obviously kind of to be expected because Ken is very popular, right? But when you start checking out the tournament results is when Ken falls off hard. So this is the character representation for the CBT Premier. Obviously, huge thanks to Cat Kami for providing us with this data. Excellent performance as always. Top 32 Evo Vegas. There is not a single Ken in top 32. Now, we still do have Akuma here, we still have Luke, we still have Ryu, so Terry obviously, so all of the other shotos are seeing representation, but Ken is not. You pull back a little bit behind it, check out the top 8 character representation averages for the World Warrior events. And Ken is the lowest of the shotos, right? Obviously, they are popular, but like Ryu is doing better, Luke is doing better, Akuma is doing better, Terry is doing better, Sagat, if you included him, and obviously Mai is doing the best. You check out the combo breaker and kind of pixelated, but top 32 character representation, and once more Ken is nowhere to be found. We pull a little bit before that and we check out Evo Japan, top 32, and again no Ken, right? Sagat is here, Luke is here, Ryu's here, Akuma's here, but no Ken. So if we're talking about the 2026 season performance, Ken is by far the worst performing shoto when it comes to the tournament results and the Capcom Pro Tour and just like high level gameplay. It feels like Ken have fallen off hard. He has fallen off of favor from the perspective of the top players. And the crazy part about Ken is when you think about it, Ken never really got a crippling nerf. In my opinion, like, he didn't get one huge nerf that utterly destroyed him or his placements, right? He is still for all intent and purposes, a really good character. He still have insane corner carry. He still have like Oki off of everything. So on paper, he should be great. In my opinion, if you told me, Mura, what are the strengths of Ken? What makes Ken strong? Or at least what used to make Ken super good? And for me, it was the corner carry. Like by far the corner carry, because the corner carry on Ken was absolutely tremendous. Like even the basic combos like that, like you dash up twice and they're in the corner, and now you are getting Oki again, right? Something very basic still gives him a ton. And my like by far for me the strongest thing about him was Ken's defensive interruption, because Ken, one of his highlights is a 7-frame crouching medium kick. This is always great, this is always good, and the fact that this is 7 frames make it really hard to approach Ken, right? Like it's super hard to walk up to Ken and try to push him, because this is faster than most of your mid-range normals, and if you happen to counter hit jab, his counter hit crouching jab is gonna lead into the crouching medium kick. So say that Terry is trying to walk up and press me, I check him as a Ken, bam, Now I got that, and now he is being delivered all the way to the corner. And by the way, this is the main reason that Ken is super popular 1800 and below, and even up to like the 1800 to the 2K range. Ken is super effective because his layer 1 game is super rewarding and super duper good. And obviously can have a throw loop, we all know about it, although it is kind of finicky, right? As he did nerf him by the fact that when he dashes he only becomes +1, so he doesn't have a dash through throw loop, but obviously he still does have a walk up and throw situation. So this is what made Ken super good, right? But Ken also have a lot of, I will say, a lot of flaws. It's not flaws in that sense, but he's missing tools. And what really happened with Street Fighter 6 is a classic case of power creep. So Ken was designed always with having like really good light confirms, right? Like he gets that. Jabs into light kick, so he gets like the combo into uppercut, which is really good. But that light kick, he drive rushes out of it and he can't link into much. So he gets that, but no, not so much in terms of follow-up. His jab drive rush conversions are not great, right? And Ken lacks the normal regular overhead. And I think that proved to be really, really important. We joke about it a lot within our local circle, our local like fighting game circle, but we call that the drive rush overhead from Ryu the career maker, right? The fact that Ken doesn't have a career maker actually make it harder for him to open up people, right? Because Ken doesn't have a drive rush overhead. He's not gonna do that into like gotcha, and now you have eaten 6k or like 5k or whatever this is. This does about 4.8, right? Yeah, 4.6. He doesn't have that, right? He doesn't have that. And another thing that Ken does not have is a plus on block normal. Now, when Street Fighter 6 first came out, I will say when the game first came out, plus on block normals were not common. Right, they really were not common. Like you check out the launch roster, like Luke had one, Jamie had one, but a lot of pushback. Manon didn't. Kimberly had like standing heavy kick, but Marisa, a lot of pushback. Lily, not really. JP had one. Jury, tons of pushback. DJ, tons of pushback. Cammy, crouching heavy, pushes back a lot. So like the idea of having oppressive, really powerful plus on block normals to maintain pressure was not really common, right? That was not really common. I don't think at launch, at least, that was really common. But now we are at a different time where moves like that exist. Now, Ken obviously have Jinrai and like crouching medium kick Jinrai, like the frame traps from that, and this being a true block string. There is a lot of good here. But the simplicity of having a tool like that, and it's not just Sagat, right? Like Sagat is a factor here. We have a character like Terry, and I would say Terry is one of these characters that got like a ton of Ken players now switched over to Terry because he doesn't have that. And the strength of having that alongside a really good kit, I mean, that's huge, right? So Ken, so Sagat, Terry, like let's check out the DLC characters, right? Akuma have a plus on block normal, Bison have plus on block normals, Viper, Elena, like it became so common that the more they add, and these characters have well-rounded kits. Like if we're comparing Ken to Terry, both of these characters are what you can call like shotos, right? But they have the plus on block normal, so it's easier for them to maintain pressures, etc, etc. So it's like the apparent strengths of Ken and his flexibility with the mix-ups are not really there compared to the recent characters, especially as well when you check out a character like Terry. I mean, the fact that Terry gets that, so he also have like the corner carry, he also has the throw loop, etc, etc. So just Ken in that aspect, he kind of got power crept, and the controller decided to disconnect, right? Oh my god. just in the nick of time. So that is that's an area where Ken is kind of trailing behind. And obviously, one of the biggest one, which is kind of obvious, Ken's damage, it's not that great. So I'm starting with the jumping, Akuma's crouching. It's like a lot of very specific conditions for me to get a 2-touch on Akuma, right? But like you check out any other character and it's so easy for them to get a 2-touch. Ken is, I genuinely think, Ken is one of very few characters in this game that doesn't have a realistic or an easy 2-touch. Like, seriously, crouching, Akuma, and wake up DP. So I was like, I am really pushing what is a real 2-touch, right? And I have to parry and just to get like enough meter so that I have a pixel so that I can do another EX Jinrai loop. So yeah. Other characters get the 2 touches far easier. And again, they do have a good, well-rounded kit, and they do have a lot of good utility. So that certainly affected Ken in a negative way. And it's kind of an interesting situation because do we buff Ken? What do we want? Do we want to buff Ken so that he is playing the same games that Terry, Mai, etc. are playing? Or do we keep him the way he is and bring the others down to his level, right? I still think Ken is almost as good as launch Ken, but the characters that were added and the ones that got buffed, power creep is starting to become like a real issue. Like we're getting crazier and crazier and crazier to the point where now Ken, like Ken, like this is now not even cutting it. Imagine that. So I guess that says a lot about like the state of the game overall. But I would like to see Ken get some love, because if I'm being honest, Ken is my favorite shoto. He have always been my favorite shoto. My favorite shoto were always Ken and the Evil Ryu variety, because I loved like the combo centric shotos. And a lot of Ken players were always downplaying Ken is the worst shoto, Ken is the worst shoto, Ken is the worst shoto. Well, lo and behold, well, Ken did become the worst shoto. So what are your thoughts on Ken? Would you like to see other characters get brought down to Ken's level so that we are having more interactions with the game? I wish characters were doing Ken damage instead of everyone doing Bison, Terry, Ingrid damage. I wish the Ken damage area was a standard. I would love to see that. Anyways, what are your thoughts? Do we buff Ken, or do we nerf the other characters to the Ken level? I would love to hear your thoughts all about it in the comment section below. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.